Not to sound like an idiot, I will not be doing a wolf howl. You are very welcome. Today I'm going to talk about my personal favorite of the Universal monster movies, The Wolfman. Now, I did think about reviewing like all the main ones, but I have done that in the past and I don't want to repeat myself. But I do want to talk about at least one of them, so the obvious thing to do is talk about your favorite. And I think, without question, The Wolfman is definitely my favorite Universal monster movie. I really like Dracula. I love Frankenstein. Mummy's pretty good. I mean, it's not great, but it's pretty good. What am I forgetting? Creature from the Black Lagoon's great. The Invisible Man's great. I forgot some, but, every single one of them is a good movie. But The Wolfman, I think, is a masterpiece. It's an absolute masterpiece. So how about we get into it? You already know the story, but I'll just go over it in very simple terms. Basically, Larry Talbot has been living in America for a number of years, but he comes back to someplace in Europe. I'm uncultured, so I don't really know where. Somewhere in Europe. He goes home to his father, and his brother has recently been killed, so he goes to live with his dad. That's about it. On that front, he meets a hot chick, and, he meets a hot chick, hot blonde, and she is very hot, by the way. She's engaged, but for some reason agrees to go on a date with Larry, which is really random, into the woods, but there are interesting creatures in the woods, and Larry gets bitten by one. That sounds about right. Larry, one of the hot chick's friends, dies by a werewolf, but Larry tries to fend off the werewolf. And now I'm just making it sound bad, so you already know what happens, basically. Larry turns into a werewolf. That's what you're looking at. It's just a masterpiece. This movie is an absolute masterpiece. Everything about it is just, I think, perfect. It's one of my favorite black and white movies. It's definitely one of my favorite horror movies. But perhaps we should talk about some specifics. That might be good. To start with, what do you got to say? It's Lon Chaney Jr. in his career-defining role. I mean, this was his big, I'd say his first big role. He played Lenny in Of Mice and Men in 1939, which is a great movie, by the way. But this is his career-defining role, I think, and, it only got worse from here. He got so typecast and just put into shit movies, at least, like, in the 50s and 60s. I feel really bad about it, because, Of Mice and Men, that's what it's called. And this movie really do show he's a great actor. He's a great actor, and he's really fun to watch. And he just has like a sad face about him. Yeah, I really wish I could edit these videos. His face it's just so sad to look at. It's just depressing. And he really pulls off emotion. You really feel for the guy, but you can also really tell when he's angry. I mean, it's an absolute perfect performance. It's the best he's ever been, or ever was. And then one of the most important things to mention is Jack Pierce's makeup. I love the Frankenstein monster, and that makeup is more original than the Wolfman, because this is pretty much what you'd expect when you think of a werewolf. But damn it, man! I mean, this is my favorite Jack Pierce makeup. I mean, look at that thing. Just look at it. It's beautiful. And I don't know if that's gay to say a male werewolf is beautiful, but I don't care, so shut up. I don't know where to go from there. I don't even have to say anything. You're looking at it, it's incredible. It's how we think of werewolves. I mean, Jack Pierce is probably the best makeup man. I mean, he influenced everybody, I think most notably Rick Baker. His makeup is so incredible. It just really makes you want to go be like Dr. Frankenstein and make a monster. It's just inspiring to look at, and he's really one of the few makeup artists that you can say that about. But those are probably the highlights. Oh, actually, one of the other highlights is the music. Now, Dracula, Frankenstein, they didn't really have any music in them because they were really early. They were 1931. And then The Mummy had music, but, used sparingly, and overall, I mean, the music's really good, but I wouldn't exactly call it super memorable. But damn, man, the Wolfman's music, it's great. It's spectacular. I believe it was used in some of the later Godzilla movies. I mean, why not, man? I mean, I've been saying man a lot. Isn't that weird? Wolfman! Oh my god, I just blew your mind, and I blew mine too. Okay, that was weird. But moving on. Yeah. What was I talking about? The music. The music's incredible. I mean, I could sing it for you right now, or I could hum it, but you know, I want to spare your eardrums. But just search it on YouTube. You can it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's creepy as hell. It's great. Okay, those are probably the most standout things about this movie that everybody remembers. But you know, everything else about it is good too. I mean, the supporting actors. I mean, they're 40s actors. I mean, they're not great, but they're serviceable. They're from the 40s. Claude Rains is Larry's dad, or Lon Chaney's dad, and it's friggin' Claude Rains. He was in Casablanca. He's the Invisible Man. He's the fan of the opera and the remake, the 1940 something remake. I forgot. I mean, he's a badass. I mean, I love Claude Rains. I love Claude Rains. Obviously, I have a speech problem tonight. I love him. He's in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington too. I'm just spouting out random movie titles because I don't care. I love him. Claude Rains is the best, man. He's just great, and he's perfect. I mean, his part is it's not really on paper that memorable, but I mean, Claude Rains makes it memorable, man. It's just great. He's awesome. And the writing, classic lines. Even a man who is pure at heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright. I could recite that in my sleep. Maybe that's because I'm a nerd, but still, it's classic dialogue. Like, go now, and heaven help you. I love it. I love the dialogue in this movie. It's just, you can just start quoting this movie, and then you can just use those quotes and form I don't even know what I'm talking about, like a Halloween party or something around. They're classic lines. And the story moves really well. It takes place over 3 days. I mean, really, really tightly paced, action-packed, never drags at all. It's just, every scene's classic. Every scene is absolutely classic. And, it's just, have I mentioned that this movie's great? Because one other thing I do want to mention is, those forest sets, man. I like to think of things as, what makes you, this is going to be hard to explain, really, just makes you feel like you're in a dream. I guess that would be the best way. A dream-like atmosphere. I love those. And those, you can really, those are easily, they're easier to accomplish in black and white movies, I think. And actually, my two favorite examples, I think, are, number one is the jungle in King Kong, 1933. But number two is the forest in The Wolfman. Good God, they are so beautifully dreamlike and surreal. I could stare into those forests all day. I mean, just look at a picture of them. They are so obviously fake, but so beautiful. I'm coming off kind of weird right now, but I hope somebody understands what I'm talking about. So The Wolfman, 1941. It's a classic. I love it. I'm sure anybody that's watching this video also loves it. The makeup, the acting, the music, the writing, the cinematography. Oh my God, I am nerdgasming just thinking about it. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. I probably forgot something, but it is one of my favorite movies. I wouldn't say one of my favorite movies, but it's definitely one of my favorite horror movies, favorite monster movie. It's my favorite Universal monster movie. It's classic. It's classic. I've probably mentioned that before. I'm just rambling because I want to talk about it for as long as possible, but I'm going to end it. So, have a great rest of your October, and I will see you in the next part. Wolfman.